Yes, it's me again. Um, just inspired by watching Michael 45 RPM audio files latest vid with Crescent by John Coltrane. Yes, those CDs I bought back in the 90s, they're impulse releases. Um, I'm not an audiophile, so it's obvious. But the sound quality of those CDs is pretty impressive. They sounds good, very good. The best sounding jazz I ever remember, sound wise. See, to me, jazz is meant to be heard live, and to me, it's to me records or recordings are more for pop, classical jazz, real music needs to be experienced live, and then you're just left with a memory, which is better. Anyway, um, yeah, I had a neighbour, Hazel Bakewell, and actually funny, I was thinking of Bake and Bakewell and Chet Baker a minute ago, and I thought, can you imagine if Chet Baker got together with Ginger Baker? Ginger Baker, a so-called jazz drummer? I don't think so, mate. He's as ham-fisted as bloody John Bonham. Can you imagine Ginger Baker? He can't help himself, He'd be smashing, like a crazy muppet, going ape shit constantly without a break, while poor old Chet's trying to sing like. And then peep, 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 peep. Oh Christ! I'd love to be the recording engineer. I'd love to be the engineer at that recording session. Wouldn't I ever? And they'd be both on junk too. See, which junk made Chet Baker go all soft and dreamy like, and with bloody Ginger Baker, the junk made him, act like a fucking insane muppet. It's funny, isn't it? Like, you think junks makes everyone just nod off, but it doesn't. It affects some people in different ways, and the inspiration, obviously, with Coltrane's the junk, and the same with Chet Baker. I always found it amusing that I've worked with this blues and jazz boy. He's a lovely bloke, but he's weird, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't smoke or drink or didn't like rock and roll, but he loved jazz and he loved blues. And I went and saw, it was a blues, Buddy Guy. I went to a Buddy Guy concert with him. Buddy Guy was fantastic. He actually did Sunshine Our Love. This is back in the 90s in Sydney. He was great. He did the thing, walked out into the audience with a guitar, walked up the aisle, walked out into the street. And he was playing out in the street. I know it's his shtick, but by golly, it was great. And there's thousands of people sitting there while he's out playing in the street, and then he walks back in and walks up the aisle and gets back. And that was awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, Chet Baker. And it's a bit like Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan was only interesting when he was on amphetamines, He went through a junk stage too. But, his amphetamine albums, Bringing It All Back Home, Highway 61 and Blonde on Blonde. That's not the only drug he was taking, but that was the one that brought out the faux poetics of his lyrics, not to be read outside, like all poetry. Poetry's up there with jazz and bloody classical in that you need to experience it live and just remember it, and even the memories will fade. And it's what the fuck am I talking about? Anyway, so I used to walk around carrying my John Coltrane original mono album, but everyone go, oh man, like, oh gee, it's really. But what they didn't know is that secretly, I haven't got the attention span to listen to that jazz music, so I always put this inside the album covers. I always carried Black by the Throb in here if I wanted to listen to some music. Now that's an old folk tune. Was it Black is the colour of my true love's hair? But if you hear the Throbs version, one of the great Sydney band, the Throb, the template for the bloody Ramones, with their version of Fortune Teller was in 1966, about 10 years before the Ramones came along. You listen to that and it's just the Ramones. Anyway, yes, punk rock. Punk rock is not really good to hear at all at any time. Yes, yeah, their version of Black, it's a psych pop masterpiece. Highly, highly collectible. The funny thing is, with this is all, I'm just spinning. I'm like that one of those jazz improvisers, you know? Like, oh wow, I'm spinning off that. See, the thing is, yeah, I've forgotten what it was. Yeah, jazz. Yeah, jazz and folk and punk and shit and country. The best heard live. Forget what I was talking about. What a shame, because it was actually a good thought. Well, I think it was. Um, yeah. So, oh well, that's that one gone. Oh, sorry to take up your time. Bye now.